After a profitable trading week, let's go through the trading plans for next week on dollar, gold, yen, oil, Bitcoin, stock market, and other pairs that I want you to know about. And do you remember this footage? What did I say yesterday? I said yesterday we are going to see dollar falling. Come on, some claps out there. And do you remember this gold setup? So where do I think it's going to go? Head lower. And the levels you should look out for to 1772 and 1780 level. And a couple of hours later, this happened. Boom! Trading Forex is risky, and especially trading commodities gold. You might lose your entire account, so don't invest money you cannot afford to lose. You might lose it all, but also do your analysis, do your risk, and make sure that you understand what you're getting into. Let's go into the events for this week, which we first of all have CPI out of Australia, we have durable goods out of America, we have Canada bank interest rates, we have Japan interest rate decision, we have ECB and Europe monetary policy decision, and we have GDP coming out of Europe on Friday. This is our trading this week. We were planning this on the Sunday live. We also planned this on the Trader Nick live on Monday, where we look to buy Aussie dollar, we look to buy Euro dollar, and we look to buy pound dollar. And we then did the same thing on Tuesday, where we also added trades later on. So in total, 305 pips. Boom. But also, remember, I do look at every single comment of yours. I deeply appreciate every single one of them. As we are starting out on DXY, what do we have on the daily time frame? We have higher highs and higher lows, and higher highs and higher lows. That means that we currently have a bullish trend. If you look down to the 4-hour time frame, we are a bit more of a range in this situation here, but we have broken lower here, but right now we have stopped at 93.50. We haven't continued lower. And for our buys for next week, we're actually thinking that dollar should actually go higher. We are bullish on the dollar because of seasonality, but also we are looking into the Fed meeting 3rd of November that is definitely going to move the dollar this week. I all want us to see the seasonality on EURUSD here. We've already about to tip over and then fall all the way down into November. If we are then doing a quick search to what happened last year at the same dates, this is 21st of October, and that is actually the peak. And then we never rose above it, and then we went down to 1st of November. Now, can this happen this year? Well, we still don't have a higher high. We have gone sideways. So what we're expecting for the next week, I am personally looking into selling EURUSD next week, going into this range here, coming up to 1658, all the way down to 1560. And very easy to put in stop loss this week because that's just above the previous high. And that stop loss is not too far. So if we break out, we break out. And 20 pip stop loss, I think that's fair enough. As we're coming into Australian dollar, yes, we have a bullish trend on the 4-hour. Nothing to beat about that. But coming down to the 1-hour, we are seeing some range bound, some bearish price action. So if you can get 75.06 or better price, and then selling it that down to 73.39 is probably going to be the best opportunity this week. But the problem about Aussie is that the stop loss is a bit much higher than on Euro. We have all the way up to 49 pips on this one. Sounds good to me. But the other thing is here is what is your bias? So my bias is to the downside, so I'm only going to look for that. But if you want to see bullish price action, you definitely have the reasons for it. But you then need to see higher high break of this one, coming into a pullback, and then you can start looking for buys. The seasonality on Aussie dollar is that we are supposed to top out right now and then fall actually almost into December. As we're looking into pound dollar on the 4-hour, yes, we have at the moment a bullish price action here, but we have a quite low low. That doesn't mean anything else than this can go higher. But that is also the first point where you're like, well, can this actually fall further down? And as we have a bullish bias on the dollar, we are actually going to say, well, this is actually turning out to be a bearish price action. Why? Because we have a lower low than all these lows here. So if you can get price up to 37.65 or even better, 137.93. Remember, we smashed it on pound dollar last week, and we're going to smash it again this week. So my personal trade here is from 137.93 down to 136.68 with a stop loss not only but all the way up to 138.40, so that's around 50 pips, I would say. So straightforward trading. The seasonality on pound dollar is that we are supposed to be topping out right now and then fall into 1st of November. The other thing that you need to notice is this going to go higher? This can definitely go higher, both because of the incoming rate hike that is going to be priced in, but I think actually this was actually the pricing in of this pound dollar. So be aware, be aware. As we're coming into pound yen and the yens, we have here a lower low. Now for this week, we're expecting across the yen pairs, Aussie yen, CAD yen, Euro yen, New Zealand yen, that this week we should fall. So not only do we have that as our bias, but we also now have technical confirmation. The next thing is to look for price to come back up to 156.72 and down to 154.83. And I don't think that 154.83 is going to be the bottom on pound yen. So what I'm expecting for this week, if we start cascading and hitting stop losses as we did in this area, bada bing, bada boom, we're gonna fall. So we already have sells on this one up here on Friday, if you were in the daily setup. The other yen pairs here, we have lower lows, so we're just expecting this one to come back to either 85 or 85.50 all the way down to 83.53. Basic price action pullback, trend reversal, coming up to resistance. Same thing on the Euro yen, coming back up to 132.50 or 132.80 and coming lower to 131.25 or lower. New Zealand yen, not so much reverse, but it has this small pullback at least. There is no double top though on the 1 hour. Maybe that is not necessary. But at least what we're expecting for this week is central pivot 81.43 or 81.86 is my idea for this week, coming down to 79.90 or lower. But remember, when we have been buying, the same thing tends to happen. How long are we going to fall? I think we're going to fall until beginning of November. So we shall see how that goes out. But that is at least for this week on the yen pairs. Dollar, yen, I don't know if that is going to be a bearish or bullish day, because it depends on how strong dollar is. And that's going to make it go sideways. So I'm going to jump off that train straight forward. Where are you going to put your stop loss across all the yen pairs that I mentioned? Previous high, previous high, previous high, previous high. So on Euro yen, for example, that is 133.54. That's 100 pip stop loss if you sell at central pivot, but I don't think that's going to happen. So remember, put your stop loss at break even when you have profit of 50 pips or more, and let it rain. I'm just doing a very small on USD CAD. I think I'm bullish on dollar. I'm bullish on dollar, but I don't know if I'm bullish on CAD. But maybe if this goes a breaking 124, let's look for a pullback. That's kind of the only thing that I'm looking at right now in USD CAD. Do I sell it? No. We have hit monthly take profit, and that is a big exit. So I'm not going to touch it whatsoever. In the same breath, we have US oil, UK oil, range but going bullish. As we're jumping over to US oil, we have a range But we also have a lower part of the range where we look to buy. Now we're going to go the same thing this week at around 83 and 82.5. And we are going to see the price going up to 85, 87 or higher. Now, that is my idea. Is that going to happen? Well, let's see how it goes. But $90 is definitely within sight. And in the end, maybe next year, by $100. And now you're wondering, why do I think that? It's because 1, low rig rate. 2, high demand. 3, low supply. 4, we're going into winter, and we're going to have demand for oil in winter too. It's going to get cold. It's already cold. So another one that is also coming into winter, and the best season of the year is the S&P 500 and Nasdaq. Here we have coming up to weekly target, just one, and then we're going down to maybe 44.92. We're still having hopes of it coming down to 44.0 before going higher. So any falls is technically for me just seen as bullish, and as long as you don't fall and crash and all those things, we never know what's going to happen, you know. That's the fun part of the investment. But also, we are looking into some small pullbacks and then going higher. Then also, the other strategy you need to have at hand on S&P is support and resistance, and being able to catch those support level, and being able to be break even on all of these trades that you might have in this area here, and be like, okay, if it falls, and I am no care. We are at an all-time high, okay? What does that mean? That means that is the most normal market condition for S&P 500 and Nasdaq and US 30. So if you are getting scared of being at a higher high, you need to change your mindset, your strategy, because that is where normally market is. And on Nasdaq, if we can come down to 15,000 again, I will be super duper happy. But if we just go back down to, let's say, around 1529, I think that would be a great place to look for more buys. And if you're coming into US 30 as well, coming down to 35, 50, 35, 30 areas, or all the way down to 34.80, I all consider those to be places I would love to buy. The seasonality for these pairs is that this is going to be the strongest time of the year. Bitcoin hit 66,000. What are we going to do? Are we going to go down to 50 again? That would be lovely. That is, by the way, a higher time frame support. And are we going to pull back and start off at 60,200? That would be great too. So if we can do that on S&P 5 on Bitcoin, that would be great. But also, I would consider any pullbacks to be buying opportunities around this time of year. Let's head over to gold. Gold did something spectacular on Friday. I would say they went boop and then boop. Nothing happened. Plenty of people lost money. I know people lost $2,000, $4,000, $10,000 in this market. And I'm like wondering, what are you doing? So you need to be smart, you need to be intelligent, you need to be, what is going to happen next week? Are we going to fall? Are we going to buy? That is your first question. The next question you need to answer is this a break, or did it hold this support level as this is supposed to be a trend? It did not hold. We went back down to 1790, 1780 area. That means to me that currently we do not have a trend. We don't have higher highs. We don't have higher lows. We don't have lower lows or higher or lower highs, and we don't have good technical setups to be buying next week. So right now I just want you to know the seasonality on gold for this year, and look into this top. Maybe it's going to top out soon and then fall all the way down to beginning of December. Right now I will be question mark, and then I'm gonna be where do you want to be. So for currently, how do you make money on gold? You need to be strategic. You need to be clever. You need to be at the right time at the right places. So if this one starts now to fall below 1760, I would be lovely to start selling that one. And as we saw in the seasonality, what if we fall? What if we fall? Okay? Don't think everything just because it says gold is going to go to the moon. There is also plenty of money to be made on the downside. But choose your bias, choose your risk, not more than 1%. And I know you guys lose way more than 1%. And if you lose more than 10%, you're going to blow your account anyways. So my next week is, if we break 1812, that is a bullish setup. If we are breaking 1776, that is a bearish setup. I am going to be very clear with what I'm going to do. Either that or that, and then we shall see what the market gives us for next week. But if you're going to learn more from me, please go and watch my strategy here and go and find my indicators here. And other than that, I see you in the next live show.